Hey, I got a message to all of our Nebraska Cornhusker fans out there. I'm here to remind you that 2024, your team sucked. That's just it's not debatable. Okay. You want to get on, and here's how I know it's not debatable. You're gonna get down in the comment section and you're gonna go, but Quinn, we had an improved season. You said we wouldn't even make a bowl game, and we did. Congratulations, you got 6 wins, 5 of them in the first 6 weeks. So you went 1-5 down the back stretch of your season, but you got to 6 wins, so I'll give you that. And then you got your bowl win over Boston College. But since Win is being 7-6, a good achievement for Nebraska football. The whole point is that they've been in the dumpster now for a decade, and they're still not out of it. Going 7-6 does not mean you're out of the dumpster, especially when you don't play a high-end Big Ten conference schedule. They didn't. I mean, I'm not going to hold it against them that they lost at Ohio State. Outside of that, they played none of the teams that were hovering around in the playoff. Or actually, no, wait, I'll take that back. They played Indiana, who beat them 56-7. So they did not really play top end teams from the Big Ten this year. So I'm not super blown away or impressed by this 7-6 record. And I have no real faith that this is going to get any better for the people out there in Nebraska. The most entertaining thing that they're going to get to keep watching is the corn growing in their backyard. Chase, what do you have to say to the 2024 Nebraska Cornhuskers?
There's a lot of words
Mm-hmm.
just used to describe that soliloquy you just gave us, that monologue that you so eloquently prepared. But one word just rings true to me in this, Quinn, and that's blasphemy. Quinn, I think not only did Nebraska not suck this year, I think they had a successful season for who they were. I'm an avid Nebraska Cornhusker watching corn grow fan all the way from Alabama. And I'll say this. Yes, did Dylan Raiola hit a wall on the back end? Maybe. But at the end of the day, that young stud of a man, young Patrick Mahomes-esque like quarterback,
Stop.
propelled Nebraska back to the days of, hey, we have hope. Yeah, 7 wins. They could have had 1 win. I would still be sitting here believing in them because the future that they have, we always know in Matt Rule's time and tenure of a head coach, except for the NFL, that it's always years 2 and 3 when he gets going. He takes one step up each year. Go to Temple. Look at Baylor. Look at what he did. And I'll say that right then and there. What he did then, he's going to do next year. So did they suck? No, not even close. They're just one more thing away. And it's just another offseason. Next year, potentially Big Ten champs, depending on how much Ohio State pays for their team. We'll get there later in the offseason, a little bit longer away. But Nebraska's here. And honestly, I think Matt Rule stays a lot farther in his tenure. But this year specifically, you had a marquee win early on over Colorado in Colorado when you lost that one at home last year. You played really tight to other teams. Yeah, you lost them, but you played tight. You knew that was going to happen with a freshman quarterback. But to say they sucked, it's just downright false. Quinn, I can't even believe you would even think of an idea like this to bring up Nebraska for this type of video. So I'm so sorry. I can't even say Nebraska and sucks in the same sentence. Freddie?
I'm actually going to side with Chase here. Reason being is you made your first bowl game since 2016. Okay, let's clap it up. I don't care if you did, if you made it on the nose at 6-6 in the regular season. Here's the reason why I think you're wrong here. Quinn, is obviously they made a bowl game. Number one, number two, 5 of their 6 losses were by 1 score or less. And I think that is impressive. I think if you get just a little bit better next year, you may flip 3 of those. And now we're talking about a 9-3 season, right? You've got a 1-score loss against Illinois, who was actually a pretty good ball club. You did get blown out by Indiana. Okay, you're at Indiana, whatever. It was a week before Ohio State. You lose Ohio State by 4, and then UCLA's a bad loss coming after the Ohio State game. You lose that by 7. At USC, that's a tough task. That's a tough travel, per se. You lose that one by 8. And then you followed up. You beat Wisconsin. And then, listen, you lose at Iowa. Iowa's a tough game. That one was 13-10. That's a Big Ten style football game right there. You're going to flip some of these next. I think the Iowa game is an easy flippable game. The UCLA game, there's no excuse for that one. I think you could flip that one easily next year. So, I mean, all of a sudden, just with those two, you're looking at 8 wins. And I think 8 wins at Nebraska for a sophomore quarterback is a very, very good season. Second year under Matt Rule, and then, obviously his junior year. Listen, you guys know I'm not a huge fan of Patrick Mahomes Jr. here. Listen, be your own guy. Don't try to be somebody else. It's kind of weird and scary how much he wants to be like Patrick Mahomes, but that's besides the point. But hey, impressive to me. Impressive.
Look, I'm just going to have to agree to disagree here. And I think my primary reason being, especially when you look at the regular season, you got a lot of built up cupcake wins. UTEP's in there, Purdue's in there, which you tell me Purdue's not a cupcake win, especially in 2024. Like, come on. And you only beat them by 18. By the way, only road game you won the entire season was the Purdue game. I don't know. And I think it's a little crazy that we think Rule's just going to guarantee rebuild in a format that's a lot more similar to the NFL than what he did when he first built up those other teams.
You're forgetting another cupcake early in the year. Colorado, second game of the year. So,
you know what, Quinn, you're actually right. And while I was saying my part about Rule, I was kind of going through that motion in the back of my head about how he did fail in the NFL and how different that outlook of college football is nowadays. So there could be some problems. However, I think that's the same thing with Freddie there. It's like what I talked about. It's kind of like what Colorado did from last year to this year. There's a lot of it was Deion's first year, Shador, Travis, all their first years, and they had a couple games where they were going to lose because of culture. And I think it's kind of the same thing with Nebraska. However, your leader is just young. He's a true freshman, 18, 19 years old. And so he was going to have a couple games where it's like, all right, that's a freshman mistake. And he definitely had a few of those, and which led to losses. So that's where I definitely was. But it will be interesting to see how Matt Rule builds up a team and basically a now NFL junior type look more so than just college football like he did with Baylor and Temple.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's all we've got on the 2024 Nebraska Cornhuskers. We're going to be doing a lot more videos just like this all the way through the offseason. So make sure you stick around with 3 Bold Takes. I've been Quinn, joined by Freddie and Chase, and we are out.